Hi there, I'm Michael Bovee with Consumer Recovery Network, and I'm back in our COVID-19 installment series, and I want to talk about small business owners. I'm a small business owner. When it comes to having overwhelming debt and an inability to go out and do what you normally do, which is go in and just energize whatever you've created, whatever your line of work, whatever your storefront, whatever it is, and you through no fault of your own, you've got all this energy, you've got all this enthusiasm for the business that you've built over 2 years, 20 years, and suddenly now it's all of that energy, all of that enthusiasm doesn't carry the day anymore because we're on lockdown or partial lockdown. As we're recording this video, things are starting to open up. Every state in the country has some measure of starting to open up, and you can put your foot in the water to start to attract business or open up your doors and let people in. I'll pick on restaurants because they're some of the hardest hit, but if you're opening your doors and you're at 50% capacity because of distancing rules, then is it even worth it? Because margins in a restaurant are so thin with food costs, labor costs, and so are you going to even be able to get in there and make a go of it? And some of us are making decisions not to. We'll get to that in a moment. When it comes to being overwhelmed with debt, whether it's a small business or personal, a lot of the things that I've talked about in over 100 videos on this YouTube channel carry over to dealing with unmanageable business debt. But there are some very subtle differences and some dramatic differences in the way that you're looked at by lenders and debt collectors when it's business debt. So types of business debt are credit cards, lines of credit. You've got UCC financing statements attached to business till-tap type of loans, places like Blue Vine that go into your merchant account every day for receivables, tap into your bank account, and then you've got loans from many different business lenders that file with the Secretary of State a UCC financing statement against inventory, capital, equipment, things like that. So at every level of delinquency for most business debt, it's the business is on the hook first, but then a lot of times you're on the hook second. What I mean by that, and some of us forget that we do this, and I've taken out business accounts, and I remember having done this and having worked with small businesses for over 20 years to overcome personal debt and business debt challenges. It invariably revolves around the fact that you've given a personal guarantee as well. And so with a credit card, say American Express, Chase, Capital One, it's not on your personal credit, and it is on, it's your business account. As soon as you stop paying, though, it could end up on your personal credit. So the decisions that you have to make about overwhelming business debt might carry over into your personal life. And so that's a huge issue. Some of the ways that we look to solve business debt. First, are you going to be a going concern? Do you not even know the answer to that question yet? Okay, well, let's start there. Some of the forbearance options that we have, and you're not sure what's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 months, you can take out a forbearance or get forbearance on your mortgage from your lender, on your car, on your truck, on your credit cards, business and personal, 2 to 3 months. What does this do for you? Well, it's kind of like kicking the can down the road, but necessarily so in many of our cases, right? So you're preserving cash, you don't know what the future holds, you're not ready to make a decision about whether your business is going to be open, or if you're going to hire people back, you just don't know yet. So you kick the can, you conserve cash. We see what happens with COVID through the summer, through the fall even. And so having that cash and not having to make tough decisions yet that you're not ready to make, it's okay. It's totally okay. Now, what if you have to make some tough decisions already? And you have this business debt and you know just for a fact, okay, look, I'm just going to close this down. I'm going to reinvent myself another way, which is fantastic, right? But you've got this overhang of business debt. Well, if you're on the hook for things after selling things and applying whatever you get to any of and all of that debt, and there's still debt that can't be paid back, sometimes that involves a business bankruptcy, right? You can do a reorganization, business bankruptcy, and kind of renegotiate your debt with vendors and other creditors in that effort and have the court's protection and keep your doors open. You can also liquidate your business in a bankruptcy. But what about that stuff that I talked about earlier, that personal guarantee? That's a real concern. You might find yourself having to file both business bankruptcy and personal bankruptcy. And it's okay. You're going to have a ton of company, probably more company than anybody's ever had in that situation in the history of bankruptcy in the United States. It's just, it is what it is. And you get a fresh start and you move forward. There are different types of personal bankruptcy. So if you qualify for Chapter 7, that's the heavyweight champion of all things debt relief. It's affordable, it's efficient, very effective, and it's over with very quickly. There's also repayment of debt in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy personal, and that's tough. That's a 5-year repayment plan with a whole bunch of rigidity. And then there's a little middle solution. Usually it's for people that would like to avoid Chapter 13, and that's to negotiate with your creditors. Even on your business debt, just like I said, over 100 videos about dealing with debt on this channel, most of it geared towards negotiating with debt collectors and your banks when you're trying to settle for less than what you owe. All of those tools, what to say and not say, and all of those things, they are very relevant to negotiating with business creditors. I'm here, I can help you. In the comments below, every day, 7 days a week, I start my morning off with coffee and my YouTube channel comments. And so if you can tell me a little bit about your situation in the comments, I can give you some feedback. A lot of times it's actionable feedback. I'm also available to talk to on the phone. Most people don't know how available I am, but if you click the link in the description below, it'll bring up a page where you can just give me some basic details and we can end up on the phone. In a very short phone call, I can often give people direction. It's like, well, here, you've got these 4 options total, but let's narrow it down mathematically to the ones that's going to work for you given your current situation, forward-looking next 2 to 6 months perspective, and then on probably a longer term goal orientation, 1, 2, 3 years for both business and your personal finance needs, and then narrow it down to, okay, this is the most workable solution. If that's not going to fly, here's the other one. And that I can usually do in a pretty quick phone call, and it doesn't even cost you anything. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.